Hey guys, Joe Ropelewski here, your amphibian keeper at Cleveland Metroparks Zoo. Gearing up for a really cool event coming up in February here, our Fairytales and Frogs. And right here next to me, we've got the smooth-sided toad. I want to talk a couple different things about frogs and toads, because a lot of people get them mixed up, but of course there's a good reason, because there's a lot of guys that don't follow the rules. Normally you see toads that are kind of bumpy on the outside and frogs are kind of smooth. Well, like I said, this is our smooth-sided toad, so if you looked at this, you could kind of mistake it for a frog. The other thing with the toads is you can see right behind the eyes, they've got large parotid glands. Those are their toxin glands. The toads have them concentrated right behind the eyes there, where frogs have poison glands all over the skin. And usually it's less toxic, except for, once again, those guys that mess up the rules, like the poison dart frogs, which are very poisonous.
Let me introduce this frog nest.
Doing its thing, a sit and wait predator. So this is the Madagascar tomato frog. So here you can kind of see the smooth skin of a frog, but it's kind of stout looking, so it kind of looks like a toad. So that one's giving us a nice shot sitting out in the open there, but usually they'll kind of tuck under the moss about halfway, so just their heads or maybe their mouths are sticking out, and that's all you see. African clawed frog. Now if you look at those back flippers there, the legs, that's where you're going to see those claws on those on the back there. Once again, that's one of the usual differences between frogs and toads. The frogs usually have the webbed back feet. And if you look at the front, those pointy little fingers there, that's actually what they use to scoop in their prey items, which were little bits of worms or other things swimming in the water, because they don't have tongues. A tongue flicks out, so that's going to displace the water and push the prey item away. With these frogs, you want something to pull in that prey item. So with those nice long fingers, that's a pretty good adaptation. And you can see there's one that stands out a little bit different, and that's just albino, which means there's no pigment in the skin.
People ask me if they're dead.
Well, with the frogs that are waiting for their prey items, you don't exactly want to be moving around too much, unless you need to go up and get a little bit of air there. Right on the back wall there. So these Amazon tree frogs, or Amazon milk frogs, they're not necessarily going to wait for that cricket to come to them. They're perfectly fine launching off of their spot, wherever they may be, to grab that cricket before it gets away. Giant waxy tree frog. It's kind of funny hearing how many people pass this exhibit and ask if we actually put fake frogs out on exhibit. But like I said, it's the waxy tree frog, so it does have that thick cuticle because it's up in the tree, so it needs to help maintain the moisture inside there. I said earlier that the frogs usually have smooth, moist skin, and the toads are the ones with the bumpy skin. Well, as you look at this ornate horned frog, that skin's pretty bumpy to blend in with the leaf litter or the moss, because once again, this is a sit and wait predator. These are our terrible dart frogs, and the name probably suggests that these are the most poisonous of the poisonous dart frogs. The toxin in one adult frog, which these are all adults, that's full grown right there, can actually kill 20,000 mice or about 10 adult human beings. They're not poisonous here at the zoo because these are actually what's called captive bred, meaning they were born here in the zoo. The diet items that they find in the wild is what produces the toxins that they can secrete in the skin. Here at the zoo, they get a mixture between fruit flies and baby crickets, and so that toxin's not produced. Now we're behind the scenes in one of the most important areas for all these animals, the kitchen. There, those white little dashes are all individual cricket eggs that we grow ourselves. We start off with what's called pinheads. A smaller or juvenile, a baby frog, is going to eat the smaller prey items, and as the crickets molt and grow up, the larger frogs and toads are going to eat those.
Hey Joe, if you touch a toad, will you get warts?
No, because you're not touching warts. Warts spread warts, but toads just have bumps. They're actually camouflage. Well, what's your guess? Frog or toad?
Lady kiss that frog.